Donald Trump and Iran, a real story of conflict, power, and global tension. Introduction. The relationship between the United States and Iran has been tense for more than 4 decades. But during the presidency of Donald Trump, tensions between the two countries reached one of their most dangerous points in modern history. From economic sanctions to military threats, from secret operations to the killing of a top Iranian general, the world watched closely as fears of a major war grew stronger. This story is not fiction. It is based on real political events, official government actions, international reactions, and historical developments that shaped global politics during Donald Trump's presidency. This is the story of how relations between the United States and Iran changed dramatically between 2017 and 2021, and how the world came close to another major conflict in the Middle East. Chapter 1: The history behind the conflict. To understand Donald Trump's conflict with Iran, we must first understand the history between the two countries. Before 1979, Iran and the United States were close allies. Iran was ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who had strong support from the American government. The Shah modernized Iran, but many Iranians believed his government was unfair, corrupt, and too dependent on foreign powers. In 1979, everything changed. The Iranian Revolution removed the Shah from power and brought Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini to leadership. Iran became an Islamic republic with a government strongly opposed to American influence. Later that same year, Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took American diplomats hostage for 444 days. The hostage crisis shocked the United States and permanently damaged relations between the two nations. Since then, both countries have accused each other of aggression, terrorism, and interference in the Middle East. Over the years, Iran developed influence in countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Meanwhile, the United States increased military presence across the Middle East. By the time Donald Trump became president in 2017, tensions already existed. But Trump's policies would push the conflict to a new level. Chapter 2: Donald Trump becomes president. In January 2017, Donald Trump officially became the 45th President of the United States. Trump entered office with a very different foreign policy approach compared to previous presidents. He believed that many international agreements were unfair to America. One of the biggest agreements he criticized was the Iran nuclear deal, officially known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA. The deal had been signed in 2015 during President Barack Obama's administration. Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. Supporters of the deal believed it prevented Iran from developing nuclear weapons. However, Donald Trump strongly opposed the agreement. He repeatedly called it the worst deal ever made. Trump argued that the agreement gave Iran too much economic freedom while failing to stop Iran's regional military influence. He believed Iran continued supporting armed groups across the Middle East despite the nuclear agreement. Many American allies disagreed with Trump, including European countries such as France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. But Trump remained determined. Chapter 3: America withdraws from the nuclear deal. He announced that the United States would officially withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. The announcement shocked the international community. Trump said the agreement failed to stop Iran's missile program and regional activities. He promised to place maximum pressure on Iran through harsh economic sanctions. The sanctions targeted Iran's oil exports, banking system, and major industries. Iran's economy suffered heavily. The value of Iran's currency dropped dramatically. Inflation increased. Businesses struggled. Ordinary Iranian citizens faced rising prices and economic hardship. Iranian leaders strongly criticized the United States. They accused Washington of breaking international commitments. Meanwhile, Trump's supporters argued that stronger pressure would force Iran to negotiate a better agreement. But instead of reducing tensions, the situation became even more dangerous. Chapter 4: Rising tensions in the Persian Gulf. By 2019, tensions between the United States and Iran had intensified. Several mysterious attacks targeted oil tankers in the Persian Gulf and nearby waters. The United States blamed Iran for the attacks. Iran denied responsibility. The Gulf region became increasingly unstable. Global oil markets reacted nervously because the Persian Gulf is one of the world's most important energy routes. In June 2019, Iran shot down an American surveillance drone. Iran claimed the drone entered Iranian airspace. The United States insisted the drone was flying in international airspace. The incident brought both countries extremely close to military conflict. According to reports, President Trump approved military strikes against Iran, but cancelled them shortly before they were launched. Trump later explained that he wanted to avoid large-scale loss of life. Still, tensions remained high. American military forces increased their presence in the region. Iran also warned that it would respond strongly to any attack. The world feared that even a small mistake could trigger a major war. Chapter 5: Iran's regional influence. One major reason behind the conflict was Iran's influence across the Middle East. Iran supported armed groups and political allies in several countries. In Lebanon, Iran supported Hezbollah. In Iraq, Iran backed powerful militia groups. In Syria, Iran supported President Bashar al-Assad during the Syrian civil war. In Yemen, Saudi Arabia and the United States accused Iran of supporting Houthi rebels. The Trump administration believed Iran was expanding its power across the region. Meanwhile, Iran argued that it was defending itself and protecting allies against foreign threats. This struggle for influence turned the Middle East into a dangerous battlefield involving multiple countries and armed groups. Trump's administration developed closer relationships with Iran's regional rivals, especially Saudi Arabia and Israel. Israeli leaders strongly supported Trump's tough stance against Iran. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu repeatedly warned about Iran's nuclear ambitions. At the same time, Saudi Arabia viewed Iran as its biggest regional competitor. As these alliances strengthened, Iran felt increasingly isolated. Chapter 6: The attack on Saudi oil facilities. In September 2019, major oil facilities in Saudi Arabia were attacked by drones and missiles. The attacks temporarily reduced Saudi oil production and shocked global energy markets. The United States and Saudi Arabia blamed Iran. Iran denied involvement. The attack demonstrated how vulnerable the region had become. Many experts feared that direct military conflict between the United States and Iran was becoming more likely. President Trump responded by increasing sanctions and sending additional American troops to the Middle East. However, he avoided launching a direct military attack. Critics accused Trump of inconsistency. Some believed he was too aggressive toward Iran. Others argued he was not responding strongly enough. To many Iranians, he was considered a national hero. To the United States, he was viewed as a dangerous figure linked to attacks against American interests. On January 3, 2020, the United States carried out a drone strike near Baghdad International Airport in Iraq. The strike killed Qasem Soleimani. A few days after Soleimani's death, Iran launched ballistic missiles at American military bases in Iraq. The attacks targeted bases housing U.S. troops. Fortunately, no American soldiers were killed during the strikes, although several later suffered traumatic brain injuries. The world waited nervously to see how President Trump would respond. Many feared another military escalation. But instead of launching immediate retaliatory attacks, Trump announced additional sanctions against Iran. He also stated that the United States was prepared for peace if Iran changed its behavior. This decision surprised many observers. The situation remained dangerous, but both sides appeared unwilling to enter a full-scale war. Still, the conflict deeply affected global politics. Oil prices fluctuated. International airlines adjusted flight routes. Governments around the world urged restraint. For several weeks, fears of a new Middle Eastern war dominated global headlines. Chapter 9: Political Reactions Inside America. Inside the United States, reactions to Trump's Iran policies were deeply divided. Supporters of Trump praised his strong stance. They argued that previous administrations had allowed Iran to grow too powerful. They believed Trump restored American strength and deterrence. Critics, however, warned that Trump's decisions increased instability. Many members of Congress questioned whether the administration had proper legal authority for the Soleimani strike. Others feared the United States was entering another endless conflict in the Middle East. The debate became part of America's larger political divisions during Trump's presidency. At